Bor Kapatisi TV. Ka Umdi Bashnyam Bat Penjasliang Rupa Premium Meghalaya.
Ka Meghalaya State Commission for Women harangkat ka Jyntep bat ka National Commission for Women New Delhi haka artrik no pra arajar pusan ka penlong ka Jyntep halo ka an prevention of sexual harassment at workplace lani ka balatip lingkot kum ka Posh Act ka balalong Hastic Convention Center Shillong. Ka Chaiperson jong ka commission ka kong yamwan lang siim habakaran hakani ka Jyntep ka laong bagi Kynthei wat hayin Lajong ru kim Shngaiñ. Kelapin kan mau ke kentin ke baong, haga kentin nong way from the womb to the tomb, lanina pelakon sya Jyntep. Kalau ongru bagi Kynthei hi kim Shngaiñ wat hagi sau kan ro jong ka Ïing, kam tam dele, habaki mat ka jing sya leben, halau jong utanga. Shushu kalau ongru, haga ni ka Jyntep di banyak shimben talang ru deki shinrang, kena makin yo jing bin sya shushu, syapangi kendon jong ka an, kabaya dai ka jing sya jurong ketiki Kynthei, hagi jaga trei.
We as women, we inhabit many spaces. One of them is the home, and the other is a workplace. We have our institutions, we have our marketplace, and wherever we are, there's always a woman. And in between, the streets, the roadways, and surprisingly, not so surprisingly rather, but something which we see again and again, that in all these spaces, women are not safe, generally. Many women are fortunate, they're safe and protected. But for many, if you look at the home and we look at what's happening around the world and even in our country here, we see the home is not a safe place. As they say, from the womb to the tomb. And we don't need to elaborate on all that, whether it's feticide, infanticide, whether it's femicide, whether it's domestic violence and abuse. We don't feel safe. Most women don't feel safe, especially in the closed doors, where with intimate partner violence everywhere. You see in the language, you see in the physical abuse, you see in the mental abuse, in the physical, as well as the discrimination. Everywhere we see that. So the home should be the most safest place, but often not. I mean, it's not. Especially even for the girl child these days. You see the case of POXO rising, increasing. So then when we look at the workplace, that's when women joined the workforce, after the world wars, after the Industrial Revolution, and in more and more women coming to the factory system, the institutions and so on. We see that there are new terms of engagement in these workplaces. The borders are expanding. So, and then what happens is that there are new terms of engagement because women are there. The values, the norms change and keep changing. But even there you see that women are not safe. And that's why we're here, to talk about the safety issues relating to women in the workplace. So this is an important thing to discuss. And the fact that I'm happy to see a few gentlemen over here, right? We should have more. There should be men for women. There should be more of that engagement. Men should be sensitized also as much as women. But we're here also to take care of ourselves, so I'm happy. I hope in your IC, in your internal committees, there are men. I do hope so. Please involve them also, because they need to be aware. Because something happens when you talk about women issues, they say, it's a woman thing, So coming back to that, the safety that women don't have in many of these spaces. Look at the streets, look at the workplace. Coming from home to the workplace, you have stalking, you have crimes of all sorts in the street. Women are being raped and abused and stalked and, a whole lot. We all know, so we don't need to get into the details, but, even the street. Even children also, for that matter. So then that means we have to interrogate something. One of them, and I just want to say only two things actually. One is to reflect on culture. When we see, and especially with social media, it's in your face. So what we see here basically is we're living in a culture of violence. We see the messaging in our entertainment, the very graphic movies. Now it looks like really bloody, actually. And not only that, we see the abuse of women. You look at entertainment, the fact, the commodification of women. Everywhere you see its nuance into the culture, there's violence. Violence in the language, sexist comments, and violence, violence everywhere, actually. You see that there, of course, when we go further, we can look at the patriarchal values, of course, in most of the rest of the world. But even in matrilineal, we see the principle of patriarchy in matrilineal. We see in the language, Khat Arbor. Why are we saying all this? What are we trying to? I mean, we should get into that kind of mode to interrogate our own cultures, the norms, the values, the systems in place. Look at caste. Look at class. There's inequality everywhere, and wherever there is inequality and hierarchical thinking, there'll be that positions of control, subordinates and superiors, and so on. And whenever those conditions are there, there's always room for violence, because people will break the rules all the time. It's kind of an inbuilt kind of thing, So we need to interrogate that. We don't have time to really get into that. I wish we have more time to look into these wider implications of why we're here, So that is one, when we look at the culture. And then, is it caste, gender, all of that is woven into that. So I think we should be more mindful when we look at our culture. What is happening? What are we feeding our kids? The socialization process. What are we teaching our kids? Do we teach them to respect their siblings, girl, boy, Are we teaching them culture in the way? I have hope for the new parents, the new upcoming parents, because they are aware, they're mindful. But I think a little less of the mobile phone, because a lot of violence come through the messages that come through that. And I believe in some countries they're trying to bring no mobile phones, no internet, till the age of 16. I think we should also move for that if we want to preserve our kids. But at the same time, we should be technologically savvy so that we also can inhabit and get into those virtual realities, the way our kids are in danger. So again, the messages that come from culture is very grim, because there's more of violence. Can we keep in mind one thing, that even when we talk about the laws, we talk about any laws, right? Laws are there as a response, right? It's a response to something that is not right. These are fences, these are protective measures, policies, and so on. But then we have to keep in mind that laws, they are to be understood in terms of they're associated, they're attached to these things like our culture, health, mental health, our value systems, education, to our policing, our force, right? It's not in silos. We have to understand that in that context, because if one fails, then the other, there will always be vulnerabilities in the other. So we need to understand that in that perspective, and I hope that you'll have a very fruitful time. To stimulate our minds and our thoughts, and also something to take back with you when you go back to your own committees and to your own workspaces. And we just hope that you'll have the insight, the enabling power. You can say, I don't believe in empowerment, it's more enabling. And also to be sensitive, and also to speak to your male colleagues, talk about them, have these conversations. It's important, so that the spaces where you inhabit, whether it's at home or in the street, in the workplace, in the institutions and departments that you work, and for your children. Because when you establish those places as being safe, you will also protect the children who will inhabit those places.